I was backstage listening to Mahatria Ra, beautiful speech, but there was only one thing that was going in my mind. I wish I had his hair. Mahatria, you gotta tell me the conditioner you use, bro. Well, I could get some hair out. But he talked about a very important theme: how to be a gift to the world. I'm going to ask you a more important question. What if you can't? What if you are, in fact, a burden to the world? I could relate with that. Because for the first 18 years of my life, I was a burden to everybody. I was a burden to society. I was a burden to my family. I was a burden to my country. How do you go from being a burden to a gift? That's what I'm here to share with you today, through my life. I could remember the first time I got arrested. I was 18 years old. I was arrested for aggravated assault and battery. Funny story. My brother had decided to go into a new school. And just like any homecoming, there were a couple of kids in that school who decided to give him a rather negative welcome. So I could still remember my brother coming up to me and saying, "Bro, I got bullied in school today, and I don't want to go back." So I looked at my brother and I said, "Brother, listen to me. This happens sometimes. You go back again and see how things work out." So my brother goes to school the second day and comes back, now crying. So I looked at my younger brother and I said, "All right, as the elder brother, let me handle this problem for you." So I went back to school and I had a very good friend. Like all Sri Lankans, he had an unpronounceable name. Let's call him Mac. So I went to Mac and I said, "Mac, listen to me. My brother is getting bullied in this new school and we need to do something about it." Now, Mac was a great organizer. In fact, he's so good, he should be a Rotarian. So I told Mac, "Listen to me, get a couple of friends together. We're going to go to this new school. We're going to talk to these people." School finished. I went outside and Mac had organized a group of 50 people. I said, "Okay, now I can't back down, can I?" So I took all of those guys and we went to this school. Until I got there, nobody told me it was in front of a police station. And before you know it, 10 of us get caught. Grabbed by our collars, boom, into the jail cell. Now, we were tough guys. We weren't afraid of the cops. But there was one person that we were all afraid of. And that was my mama. Raise your hand if you have an emotional mom. Put them all together, you get my mom. Highly emotional. I could hear her scream outside the police station. Even the cops were afraid. I can still remember this day. She came up, held the iron bars, looked at me and said, "Son, I want you to be a better man." And I saw a tear coming down her eye. Now, mothers cry 3 types of tears: tears of joy, tears of sorrow, and tears of shame. And when a son sees a mother cry tears of shame, that's a life-changing moment. And at that very moment, ladies and gentlemen, I found a reason to change, a reason to be a gift. Now, when I look back, I realize that's what great leaders help people do. They help them find a compelling reason in their darkest moments. And without a compelling reason, you can't be a gift to the world. I could still remember going back home and wanting to change, wanting to make my mother happy, become more productive, be a gift to society. But sometimes it's difficult to see a vision of success for yourself when you're down and out. You might have a compelling reason, but that vision, the vision of success is not coming to you. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, listen to me. I want to make my mama proud, but I can't see myself as successful. Now my dad is a cool dad. How many cool dads are there? Put your hands up. Let me see. Cool dads? Very good. Put them all together, you get my dad. He's very cool. Very, very cool, actually. So he took me and introduced me to a guy called Sam. Sam was an accountant and a friend of my dad's, and who had generously decided to make me his assistant. And every day after work, I used to sit down next to Sam, and Sam used to tell me stories about the world, about his travels, about other countries and other possibilities. He was an amazing storyteller. And through his stories, a vision of success started to appear for myself. He even told me about Korea. So I asked him, Sam, what's really good in Korea? He said, barbecue. But through Sam's stories, I was able to devise a compelling vision. And that's when I found out that after having a compelling reason, you need to have a compelling vision to go from being a burden to being a gift. And that generally happens through the art of storytelling. Now, I work with some of the world's leading organizations and leaders and influencers, and one thing that sets great leaders apart from the rest is in their ability to tell a story and create a compelling vision to their employees. And Sam created that vision of success for myself. But before I left Sam, he looked at me and said something amazing. He said, son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Hopefully, in your journey, you would be able to find that something special. And as I left Sam with a compelling vision, I had this feeling that I have something special inside of me, that I can be better than what I am today. And I went back home. Little did I know my journey of transformation, my journey of change has already started to happen. One day my dad walked up to me and said, son, we can see the change in you, but I need you to go to this club. So I asked him, Dad, what do they do in this club? And they said, son, they do public speaking. And I said, okay. And I followed my dad into my first Toastmasters meeting. Now, Toastmasters is an organization that helps people develop their public speaking skills. And little did I know, as I walked into that room, my life would change in ways that I could never imagine. As I did my first speech, I discovered a hidden talent in me. And as I continued speaking in that club, I met another gentleman by the name of Arunachalam Balraj, who's here today in the audience. And I finished my first speech. He came up to me and he said something amazing. He came up to me and said, son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. If you come here and work with me, maybe we can find that something. And I started speaking, and my journey of speaking continued. And ladies and gentlemen, one of my biggest dreams in life was to take part in the World Championship of Public Speaking. And I started in 2006. And it took me 10 years to win it. 33,000 people around the world. "33,000 people around the world take part in this contest. In fact, when I started, I actually had hair. I had a six-pack of abs. In 2014, I had lost all of my hair, and my six-pack had turned into a family pack. I looked back and I realized, do I want to do this? 10 years of losing consecutively kind of makes you feel demotivated. But when you're chasing after a dream, when you're chasing after a goal, no one tries to sabotage it more than yourself. I can remember in 2014 when I woke up, I didn't want to compete in the World Championship, and that's the year that I won. But there was one man that I couldn't say no to, and that's Arunachalam Balraj, the guy that I met at Toastmasters Club. So I did something crazy. The district final was supposed to happen in India, and I waited 5 days before the Indian district final to apply for my Indian visa. So I called Mr. Balraj up and said, "Mr. Balraj, listen to me. I've been contesting now for 10 years. I was so busy this year, I couldn't apply for visa." Mr. Balraj in his calm voice said, "All right, son, keep your passport at home. I'll come and pick it up tomorrow." I was confused, but I did what he said. He came home, he picked up my passport. I didn't think too much of it. And the next day, my passport was delivered to my house with the Indian visa stamped on it. Up to this day, when I cross Indian immigration, I'm worried whether I'll get arrested because I think that's a fake visa. But I had made the biggest mistake of my life, just moments away from my greatest victory. But I had somebody who had compelling belief in me. Now when I look back at my life, I understand that these three things, a compelling reason, a compelling vision, and having people that believe in you, can transform people who are burdened to people who are gifts. And that's the beauty about Rotary, about all the leaders who are here today. All of you are able to go to the darkest, deepest corners of the world, identify people who are in the worst of circumstances, and give them a compelling reason to thrive and survive. Through your great work, you are able to paint a story to the most unfortunate people in the world, a vision of success, a vision of hope that their tomorrow can be better than their today. And I'm sure as Rotarians, some of the people that try to help, some of the people that you're trying to help, try to sabotage themselves. But as great leaders, you have compelling belief, not giving up on the people that want to give up. And ladies and gentlemen, through these three things, you have transformed many lives. In fact, you have transformed mine. Ralph C. Smedley, who started the Toastmaster movement 90 years ago, was a Rotarian. He epitomized the ethos that service above self is a universal truth. And that little movement that he started in his basement to help unemployed youth become better communicators, 90 years later would help a little Sri Lankan go into the world and find his voice and serve the world. Anton Samarasinghe, who helped me dream, was a Rotarian. Arunachalam Balraj in Toastmasters is a Rotarian. Even though I'm not a Rotarian yet, Rotary has changed my life. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the power that you have. Through giving a compelling reason, by creating a compelling vision, by creating compelling belief, you are able to create gifts that can go out into the world and change the world as we know it. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, that is true, absolutely true leadership. I was listening to all the speakers that were before me, and I saw the many great things that they are able to do with their projects, their work. But for me, what's really special about all of us is our ability to see something special inside of us. So before you follow Mr. Ra's advice and go hug people today, I want you to do something while you hug them. You guys ready for this? While you hug them, look into their eyes and say, I see something in you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when I look at you, I do see something. And that is the ability to change this world. Even when our governments have failed us, even when our politicians have failed us, even when the institutions that have been set up to help us progress fail us, the ability for a group of people to come together and say, we will solve the problems of humanity, that is something great. And that is something special inside all of you. Thank you very much.